Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Yes, we're here. It's Hy-Vee Today on Wednesday, the final day of February. Can you believe it? Just like that. February is almost over, and then March is going to start. And before you know it, we'll be talking about Easter and summer. We might as well just start talking about Halloween with how fast things go. But I don't want to think that far ahead. It was another just wonderful day in the Muscatine area yesterday. Getting home from work, both my kids were outside playing in the yard. Got a couple neighbor kids on the street, and we're heading into that time of year when we'll have more daylight. But for now, it was just so good to be outside. I felt, and I told this to one of my neighbors, Jason, across the street, I said, I felt like a bear coming out of hibernation, sort of walking outside with shorts on, because it was that nice out. So I hope that you enjoyed it. For many of you, you made the trek to Cedar Rapids last night to cheer on the Muscatine Muskie boys basketball team, who successfully defeated Linmar and are heading to the state tournament for the first time in 16 years. So congratulations to Joe Wieskamp and the crew. It was a team effort for sure last night, and we'll have some footage from that Muskie game later on this morning. We can take a live look inside the store. Speaking of Easter, we have this seasonal aisle here at Hy-Vee, where as the seasons change, you can see that there's Easter, right? And for me, again, this is only my second month working in retail. So it went from Christmas to Valentine's Day, and then literally the next day after Valentine's Day, Easter bunnies. I'm just not mentally prepared for it yet. I'm sure the Easter bunny is going to show up in my house when you have a 5- and 3-year-old. The Easter bunny definitely has to show up, right? So luckily we have all that stuff here. My first guest, very excited to have him. Superintendent L&M Schools, Mike Van Sickle is here. It's great to see you, sir. It's been a couple of years since we've seen each other, but each time that we've had great conversations. I enjoy your company a lot, and I have the utmost respect for what you and everybody in L&M are able to do. Before we get into more of the school side of things, what an achievement for your girls bowling team, back-to-back state champs. Congratulations.
That's wonderful. They do outstanding.
Yeah.
They've been on a roll all year.
Right.
I mean, they've dominated throughout the year, but they even peaked even more so at the end of the year,
right.
Breaking school records and the like. So, yeah, they do a great job.
Now, do they ever do a thing where they try and challenge you to a bowling game, or no?
Well, that would be hands down. They'd win very much so.
You would have to say, I appreciate it.
I still put up those gutter rails.
The bumpers. Yeah. Oh, the rails, yeah. I remember the bumpers, and then they got the rails. And it's been a while since I bowled. See, growing up, we went bowling a lot, right? And I don't know there's always been bowling teams, but it really seems like over the last decade or so, bowling has become, for sure, something that you can, you could get a scholarship to college to bowl.
Exactly.
I went to St. Ambrose in Davenport, and they have a bowling team now, and, I think that's wonderful.
I know that there will be team members from both the boys and girls that will be looking that way once they graduate. In fact, we had 2 state champs, too, individuals, Whitney Morse, as well as Dustin Beeham in the boys and the girls.
So tremendous. Just to be able to, again, obviously you want all your students to continue their education at the next level, and then anything that they can do to help that, to offset that cost, whether it be with their academics or with their athletics. It's so wonderful to be able to do that, as the cost of education, on the state level, it seems to be kind of maintaining, but certainly private schools continue to get more expensive. So that's got to be so important. So let's talk about that for a second, how you're able to set up students for success. How early does it start in the L&M schools? Is it as early as 4th or 5th grade, or is it a little bit later?
Well, in fact, setting up for success academically, of course, we do that right from preschool. We have a 3-year-old program, a 4-year-old program, and those types of stuff. Now, Youth League kicks in the mid-elementary, early elementary. We even have cheerleading clinics really young as far as that. Now, those are all dealt with by community members.
Sure.
So it's not specifically a school, but they partner with the school and they use our facilities and they're still considered L&M.
Sure.
But then, of course, 7th grade, it starts within the school. Now, it's very important, and we do have some initiatives to get more and more kids into extracurricular activities.
Sure.
Because there is actually an academic side benefit to that. Studies show all over the place that if kids are tied into the school outside their day-to-day classroom, that their success in the classroom increases.
It's fantastic.
So of course, we want them to be successful in extracurricular activities, but it has an academic benefit to it.
That's wild. So, and is it a thing where you can look at the study and identify that it's being around fellow classmates, developing friendships, having that sense of camaraderie that comes with being involved in an organization that then helps them want to be a better student? Or
I think all of that plays in, but the thing is, anytime that you instill ownership in something,
sure,
there's a pride in that ownership,
and
part of that pride is performing well in the class too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of pride, I mean, that's a word that I associate when I think about L&M.
Yeah,
Very
I would agree.
prideful people. You know, my father-in-law graduated from L&M a couple years ago, and I think of people like himself, and then also, you know, folks that I know that have kids that are in your school system now that also are alumni. They have a really strong sense of community and pride, and they love talking L&M.
Right.
I mean, they really, you know.
It's a good day to be a Falcon.
That's right. So how has the school year been going? I mean, here we sit on the last day of February. Spring break's coming up. I can't believe it. I mean, but how are things going overall, both in and out of the classroom?
Things are going very well.
Yeah.
We have, within the classroom, we have some initiatives. Now, in the state, you know, you have state standards
Sure.
and Iowa core and those types of stuff. And there's a lot of different ways to roll out the core. And at Louisa Muscatine, we've done this initiative of PBIS, professional, PBIS is our initiative for student behaviors and things like that. But in addition to that, we have professional learning communities and multi-support support systems for students. And we're doing intensive training and giving a lot of time to that to make sure that no kids fall through the cracks. And then also those kids that need extra enrichment, see to it that they get extra enrichment if they're above and beyond the day-to-day expectations.
Yeah, so important, right? I mean, because, you know, again, we talk a lot on this show about education, and I went to college initially to be a high school English teacher, and I say often that I don't know how teachers do it in 2018 with all the challenges that can come with technology. So let's talk about that, because that's not something that we've broached. Now, I certainly have a sense for where Muscatine is when it comes to that, but at L&M, are smartphones, are they embraced or are they put away in the classroom? Because some districts will say, well, if it can be used to help, we'll be okay with that, but otherwise we don't want it to be a distraction.
Well, first of all, we are not a one-to-one district in reference to each student gets checked out a computer. We're finding very, very much so that if we have technology access in each classroom, but the teacher keeps control of that access, it is very conducive. And then we have a checkout policy or a procedure through the library that if a kid needs to take home a computer, they can check it out just like a book.
Nice.
And back and forth. So that's how we do that. As far as all the smartphones and things, it's a yes and no scenario.
Sure.
Sometimes it's very applicable in a particular activity they're doing in the class to pull out the smartphone and it be part of the educational environment in and of itself.
Sure.
Sometimes it can be a distraction
as
well. So in a lot of the classes, especially at the secondary, we will even have cell phone pockets that at particular times the teacher might say, okay, now it's time to put the cell phones in the pockets because we're doing this.
Right. It's time to focus.
So I think that we are pretty flexible in reference to that, but we do have expectations when there has to be core instruction that those are put away and the intention is on the instruction.
You have, I know a couple of the educators that teach on the various levels at L&M, and they're just wonderful people. I mean, you really do have a passionate staff. These are men and women that are teaching that are also involved. I mean, it seems like everybody that teaches at L&M, they're doing something outside of the classroom as well to better the lives of their students. And I think that says a lot about, And I don't know if that's something that you can look for in the hiring process. I mean, teaching is certainly like I would say it's a lifestyle job. Right? I mean, you really have to be in with both feet and understand that you're going to have, it's not that just, teachers get 3 months off in the summer and, they get all this time off. It's not the case at all. I mean, they're certainly vested in what they're doing. So when it comes to bringing in educators, whether it be straight out of college or getting folks to maybe, relocate to the district, what do you look for in those type of folks? I mean, are you able to identify, because it's more than just a resume, Mike, right? I mean, you're really looking at the character and the makeup of these folks, right?
Right. And of course, you're right. You're exactly right that in an interview process, sometimes it's very hard to determine those. But we will look and checking in reference and stuff like that. We look for people that will provide outstanding quality, of course, in the classroom, but also into the community.
Sure.
We have had outstanding success when we are fortunate enough to be able to hire L&M, Muscatine, Wapello, Columbus, former students.
Yes.
So it's kind of back in the area, They kind of know the Falcon Way, and they can hit the ground running.
Sure.
So that's been outstanding. You had made mention in reference to staff commitment at L&M, and I tell you, because I can speak for myself as well, it's hard to determine for the vast majority of our professionals at L&M where school duties start and personal life start.
Sure.
In fact, it's one thing.
Right.
There's an ebb and flow between my personal life, their personal life, and what occurs at the school.
Yeah.
And actually, in a lot of aspects, that's a good life. My kids go to L&M, so if it's this continual ebb and flow between work, home, and all that kind of stuff, and there's not a specific line of when that stops and starts, it's worked out well.
I would say so. I mean, it's really admirable, again, because, I just think that there's still that misconception when it comes to teachers. And, I can't think of, certainly there's jobs out there that are maybe more involved. My father, retired police officer from Chicago, police, firefighters. But then you look into these classrooms and you think about the amount of responsibility that they have.
Right.
Because, and I don't know what's the average size of a class is at L&M, but certainly if it's 25 to 30 or 40 kids, however many it is, that's a lot of pressure, right? Because you're responsible day to day for these students and where they're going to go next. And I think we have your website pulled up and we're taking a look at some of your staff. And yeah, I mean, they have to be able to understand that each student, not only is going to learn different, but their path will be different, won't it? Because for some, that next step to a college is going to happen, or a community college, and then, to finish out at those 2 years at a 4-year school. But then for others, they might right away enter the workforce. So that balance, I wonder how that's handled, because are you able to sort of tailor education on an individual basis for the students? It's not that,
I'll touch on a few things that you mentioned. First of all, I'd like to, you're exactly right, the pressure. I mean, I can't even imagine. I've never taught, below 6th grade.
Sure.
But to think that pre-K 3, I'm responsible for that kid to read.
Right.
I'm responsible for them to know their math concepts.
Yes.
Wow, what a responsibility. And I would tell you, our teachers do a bang-up job in reference to fulfilling that responsibility. But as far as the college career ready, that next step, that stuff, I'm very proud of a particular program that we've instilled. We've actually partnered with Columbus Community Schools and MCC, Muscatine Community Colleges and College, and we've actually hired a college and career counselor between our entities.
Fantastic.
Muscatine Community College has the contract, but this individual, Teresa Putnam-Gins, is in our district 2 days a week and in Columbus 2 days a week, and she totally focuses on, okay, what's the next step for you guys?
Sure.
And not only that, the Muscatine Times, she's able to follow graduates and help them through that college transition as well.
Yeah.
So we do look at the value of helping guide beyond that 12th grade graduation.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, because again, you're setting up the next leaders, the next, workforce, wherever they're going to find themselves. And I bet as superintendent, you get to watch some of these journeys, wherever you're meeting these students. How great is it for you, Mike, to have them come back and say, Mr. Van Sickle, here's what I'm doing, getting close to graduating from college or graduating from college, taking the first job. And it's got to just give you a great sense of pride,
Yeah, and I've had 3 sons graduate from L&M.
Sure.
So I get that because I get to talk with them, but I also get to talk to their friends.
Right, sure.
And L&M has prepared them well for that next step, and is rewarding to get that feedback.
Sure.
I'll tell you something that is rewarding as well when you hear L&M grads actually emphasize that due to what they've received at L&M, they want to go into the educational profession or the ag profession or the business profession because of what they were exposed to at the Wise of Muscatine. In fact, I even got one a couple years back that they actually wanted to be a principal or superintendent. I've never heard that before. It's like, what kid goes out there and says, someday I want to be a superintendent, someday I want to be a principal. But I actually got one.
That's fantastic. And you probably said, I'll give you the manual, but there is no manual, right?
Exactly.
It's life. You have to, what was, I guess, let's, for a second, your background before becoming a superintendent. So, because I don't know if that's what you set out to do initially.
No, not at all.
Right. So that's the thing. I mean, when you hear that from students, it's so great. Like kids that graduate and then want to get into education, wow, hats off to you. But what about your path to where you are today? You mentioned that you taught a lot, so obviously you have that. And
I'll try to be short here, but my path is kind of different. I'm kind of different than maybe most educational leaders.
Sure.
A little bit of revealing some of my past. I actually was a very struggling elementary student.
Sure.
I had difficulty in reading. I was a resource kid. I got tested for special ed. All this, I was retained from between my 4th and 5th grade year. So really struggling. But due to the support that the school that I attended gave me and my family, I ended up being a very successful student through my secondary and college career. And then went into education, elementary ed. So I was a 6th grade teacher. Now, here I'm a 6th grade teacher. I married my college sweetheart. She was a volleyball player, I was a football player.
Nice.
And we actually married prior to graduation. We were expecting our first. She was at home. She was also an elementary teacher, schooled.
Sure.
But I was the single salary winner.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too far down the line that she got a job, but then we ended up having 1 child, 2 child, and she was thinking, maybe I'd like to stay home. And I was thinking in my head, okay, education. What can I do to make more money in education? So I started taking my administrative classes.
Right, yeah,
and
absolutely.
The rest
But it's so true, isn't it? I mean, you wanted to take that next step for yourself. And it is, you talk about people with a lot of responsibility. Superintendent, you're the guy. You're at the top, and you have to, sort of set the tone for your district and deal with all the things that come up. But just the little that I've known you embrace it all. I mean, I imagine that even when it's challenging, it's worth it every day.
Yeah, it's my job is one of those jobs that some days the statement is, man, I can't believe I get paid for this.
Sure.
There's a few days that it's like they can't pay me enough for this.
Right.
So that's the both ends of the spectrum.
Sure.
But in L&M, I'd tell you, a lot more days of, man, this is a great place.
Sure.
And I can't believe I get paid for this.
Yeah. Again, and I think part of it for me, what I admire again about L&M is, smaller school, right? I mean, how many kids are in your class of 2018 that are going to graduate? Is it?
We're in the 60s in there.
That's unbelievable. I love it. I had 770 in my high school.
We're on we have a freshman class of mid-80s.
Wow.
So yeah.
So there's growth.
Right. Well, we're educating about 800 kids, which is up.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I don't know. I experienced. So I went from private school from PK to 8th grade, giant public high school, and then to St. Ambrose. So it was kind of like that up and down, But I do think that smaller classroom, it really seems to have more benefits, right? And then when you have a graduating class of 60, they seem to be, everybody seems, not that everybody gets along, but when it's that size versus 400 or 500 or 600 or 770, makes a difference.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, right. That's right.
And I'll tell you, you have ethnical differences, socioeconomic differences, and things like that. But if you walk into the cafeteria, be it at the elementary or the secondary, you wouldn't be able to pick out students that are high in the socioeconomic realm or not so.
Sure.
It's blended very well.
So wonderful. Mike Van Sickle, Superintendent, L&M Schools, and I have to have you back because I want to talk more about ag and there's ag business. I mean, talk about a career field that just continues to boom and be so important, right?
Yeah, and the state currently is putting a lot of push behind the career tech fields.
Yeah, 100%. I'm so glad that you joined us, and we do have a little picture-in-picture action with the L&M website. So definitely, and just like most, you guys have a sharp website. You're on social media. It's all. I mean, here we sit in 2018. It's all important. You got to be able to get information out to all these different channels, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And we try to do that. You mentioned the website.
Yeah.
We have a great tech person, an individual in our central office that stays on top of that. And I'll be honest too, our board president is really techie, Scott Wilson.
Yeah.
And he helps us out
with
a lot of stuff.
Doesn't it? Right.
It is a whole team effort when it comes to even the day-to-day operations at L&M.
Yeah. And then, did you have to make the call? How many snow days did you have this year?
We didn't have any snow days.
Wow.
Third year in a row, knock on wood. Well, the year's not over. But we had, of course, some late starts and some early outs. But I don't know. I've never been in a stretch of years that we haven't had snow days.
And that's your call to make, probably, right?
Uh-huh.
So you look out and you think, we're tough. Falcons can handle it.
Well, characteristically, when we know that that the potential is there, we know that I'm going to be out between 4 and 5 on the roads.
Whoa.
And then between 5 and 6, all the superintendents in the area are communicating via texting or phone calls and all that kind of stuff. What's it like here? What's it like there? What are you seeing on radar?
Sure.
And we're also, of course, on our computers looking at the radar. So it's a multifaceted decision.
Yeah.
We have transportation personnel within the district that we can also communicate with. So, it's definitely an educated decision.
Full-time superintendent, part-time meteorologist.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, watching the radar and all these things. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you again for your time.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. It's great to see you. I hope the rest of the school year goes well. And please come back, and because I always want to talk about what's happening in L&M. This show originates from Muscatine, but it's really, we're trying to touch everybody, and I appreciate you coming on.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much. So as we wrap up with Mr. Van Sickle, are we able to pull their website back up for L&M just to show everybody, whether you are a Falcon or not, you want to stay on top of things that are going on. All these school districts have great websites and social sites. There we go. We have it pulled up right there. L&M Community School District. I like that. We value, we challenge, we prepare each and every student.
There you go.
That's nice. And look at how easy it is. You can see the activities, meet the staff, district info. It's all right there, including folks that are on the school board. That is great. Yeah, there you go. All right, so this is wonderful. And again, I say this often, if you have a guest that you think we should talk to on Hy-Vee Today, you can always email us, hyveetoday@gmail.com. We are I'm expecting to be joined by Brian McNelly in just a few minutes. We'll get him situated. But in the meanwhile, can we take a shot of that seasonal aisle, see if anybody bumped into the camera? No, they didn't. That's good. That is excellent. So the aisle cam is looking sharp this morning. Whoops. Sorry about that. Thank you, sir. Here we go, Hy-Vee Today. A little break in the action. You're still taking a look at the aisle cam. Easter, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? Coming up soon. And remember, Easter is on April Fool's Day, which is kind of weird, but that's when it falls. Boy, I got to get a haircut. I can't look at myself in the monitor. I need a haircut. Wow. That's happening tomorrow. Hy-Vee Today viewers, this thing right here, I'm cutting the gray out. I can't even look. Oh no, I gotta get a haircut. Brian, when you get that mic on, you tell me how bad my hair looks. So we have Brian McNelly, who runs the deli here at Hy-Vee. And I love that you brought some props, buddy. This is awesome. Yeah.
Brought some cheese for you.
Okay. So, yeah, what is that? Now that's a giant wheel of cheese?
It's actually a rather small one. We have ones that go up to 90 pounds. This is probably about a 10-pounder. Toma from Point Reyes.
Okay.
One of my favorite cheeses. I think we talked about it a little bit last time
yeah.
I was on, but it's still, you still have it. It's a great.
How heavy? Oh my gosh.
It's
and
like
then,
whoa. Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, can we do some curling later?
Yeah, let's do it.
Look at this, though. We're on this camera right here. That is, and it smells real cheesy. So then is this like wax that's on this? Okay.
They do that just to protect it. I mean, it's a natural rind cheese, and so they put wax on there just to protect it and help it ripen.
Wow, I can't believe how heavy that is. I can't believe I didn't drop it either.
I have something to cut up right here. This is a Toma actually means, it's an Italian word, means cheese made by the farmer himself. So this is a true family-run farmstead cheese company in California.
Yeah.
Up in a little north of Sonoma.
Yeah, and we're kind of celebrating these California cheeses, aren't we?
Through the end of the month, which we don't have much time left, and
right.
Go right into the Irish cheeses. But yeah, we have a really great selection of fantastic California cheeses right now. I just brought a little sampling of them for you.
Yeah, these look good.
This is the Toma right here.
So this is the Toma.
Yep.
Let's see.
Just a nice table cheese.
Wow.
It melts fantastically for casseroles.
Ooh, that's nice.
Sandwiches, whatever you'd like.
Wow.
That's a really good one.
Okay, so watch this big word. That flavor profile is different than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I don't know why I thought, maybe based on smelling it, that it would be stronger, but it's very nice.
It's fairly mild. Yeah. It's a nice cheese. Don't be scared by the smell of some of the cheeses.
You got to be brave, right? Because we're all creatures of habit, and when you come to Hy-Vee and you see folks like Brian and all these cheeses and meats that we have, you just got to ask questions, because you might have never thought to try something like the Toma that looks like the curling stone. You might not have never thought to do that, but when you ask these questions, next thing you know, you're going to be getting a sample and you're going to enjoy it. So what else is on here then?
I brought some accoutrement.
Okay.
If you will.
Ooh.
Just a little
All right.
black raspberry jam from Stonewall Kitchen.
Okay.
Traditional pub mustard.
Okay.
And some honey. All three are fantastic things to pair with cheeses. And we'll change the flavor profiles for you.
So we have the Toma here. What is this one?
This is Dry Jack from Vela, also in California. Monterey Jack, I'm sure you're familiar with.
Sure.
It's one of the American original cheeses. They've been making it since California, before California was a state. And an entrepreneur named David Jacks out of Monterey started selling it, Monterey Jack. That's how you got your name. This is a dried one, so it's aged about 6 to 9 months.
Wow.
So it's a drier.
Oh, that's nice.
For grating on top of pastas, or just as a table cheese, but it's a really nice American original.
Now, before I double dip with a cheese like this, what would be the best accoutrement to put on it?
Anything. I'd really like it with the mustard. But,
with the mustard?
I think it'd be good with anything.
You're going mustard?
Yeah.
Trying to give me that hot breath.
I like mustard with cheese.
Well, I'm not going to turn you down. Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Now, as a chubby person, I've eaten a lot of things in my life.
Sure.
But I don't think I've ever dipped cheese and mustard.
It works well together.
It does.
Yeah, it's really nice. Especially if you had some, I didn't have time, but if you have some charcuterie with there, mustard is a classic.
Anytime you want to just walk on and put charcuterie down. Yeah.
We'll do that next week.
Okay, and then last but not least.
Oregon Blue.
Ooh.
This is from Rogue Creamery, but they do source their milk from California.
Okay.
And it's just right north of the border of California.
So
they are world famous for their blue cheeses.
Blue cheese can be intimidating to some people, certain people.
The honey with that one is fantastic, and it'll take a little bit of the bite away. But
I'm a blue cheese fan, so.
Yeah, you'll find really creamy and sweet.
My goodness!
It's not an off-putting blue cheese at all.
That's very good.
It's fantastic. So.
Ooh, that is blue cheese.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
Now that would be great in a variety of things. Salad. Some people like blue cheese burgers.
You make a sauce with it for steaks when it becomes grilling time.
Wow.
Just melt it down with a little cream. It'd be
really?
fantastic on top of a steak. That's a good way to use it.
Blue cheese and honey.
Yeah.
So if the blue cheese is intimidating, like you said, the honey kind of softens the...
It does. Yep.
Yeah.
And it, I love blue cheese with honey. I love it.
I've never had that before.
It's fantastic.
Well, so. I don't want to neglect the whatever. So which cheese would be...
Try the Toma with the...
the Toma?
Yeah, with the black raspberry jam.
Black raspberry.
It's pretty nice.
Okay.
And these are just simple things we offer. You can mix and match, do whatever you want. There are no rules. It's kind of like wine and beer, just whatever you like, put them together.
And I can always wash it down with my maca green tea.
There you go.
From Starbucks. Thank you. Shameless plug. That's really nice, the Toma. And was it raspberry?
Yeah, black raspberry jam from Stonewall Kitchen.
Wow. Okay. So again, when you see Brian and the crew in the deli, and you're grabbing like lunch meat or whatever, that's cool, awesome. But then ask about the cheese, because if you're going to pick up, like roast beef or turkey, and you want something different cheese-wise,
absolutely,
this is where you can find things like the Tomas of the world or the other ones. I mean, what do we have? Over 150 different kinds of cheese, right?
At least, yeah. Probably around 180 at any given time.
Wow.
It fluctuates throughout the year, but we have a lot of varieties. And don't be afraid; it can be intimidating.
Yeah.
Find Dawn or myself, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you about cheese, let you try something, and we'll get you what you need.
And then again, just as simple as this looks, but doesn't this look great? So Brian put this together to have on the show, but this is something that you could easily do next time you're entertaining family or friends, or if you're just hanging out, having a movie night or whatever. I mean,
absolutely.
You throw some of that charcuterie, that finely sliced meat, and you got a party.
That's all you need. It takes about 5 minutes to assemble.
Yeah, and
you look like a star.
You know what? Easter coming up, Mother's Day, Father's Day. I mean, this is definitely something to consider.
Absolutely.
Right? It's a simple setup. You ask the right questions. You get the varieties. You're not going to necessarily have to come and buy this whole thing. What is it? What would this cost, by the way? If somebody wanted to buy this right here, if I just want to curl it, how much do you think?
$150.
Whoa! Maybe? Okay, I'm going to put that down. I'm going to put that down. I don't want to be the guy that breaks it. I don't want to be the guy that cuts the cheese.
You can understand,
inadvertently.
In a thing like that, it probably 100 gallons of milk it probably took to make that wheel. I mean, it takes a lot of time, a lot of ingredients, and they're using only the finest milk.
Yeah.
So the cheeses the price point can be a little high, but you don't need much. You just need a few slices.
A little bit.
And you're good to go. So don't be intimidated by the price either. Come see us. We'll put together a board for you. I mean, tell us what you like.
You'll do the work.
And we'll make it for you. Sure,
really?
Absolutely.
The whole thing?
Yep.
Even the accoutrements?
Anything you want. We'll put it together.
I bet you $5 you can't spell accoutrements.
I bet you're right.
I'm not going to spell it either, but I mean, I don't know if Ryan or Chad.
So that's how we do it.
Thank you, spell check, for saving us. Accoutrement. Accoutrement. That's how you spell it. All right. The fact that you'll put it together, next level service for sure.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Nice little wooden boards. We'll put together a cheese or charcuterie board for you.
Okay, so we got to tease it. Coming up March 14th, Irish cheese event. Chef Tess and yourself. Give us like the 20-second elevator speech, because you're going to both come back and talk about this maybe next week.
In our club room, we're going to do an Irish cheese show just before St. Patrick's Day, featuring a whole line of Kerrygold cheeses. I believe we'll have James Leahy, one of our wine reps, in here with some wine pairings from 19 Crimes Wine. It's going to be really neat.
Cool.
Hors d'oeuvres, cheese. It'll be a nice event. So come see us and get tickets. We'll be here.
You could say it's going to be a Gouda event.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you love the cheese puns?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Tony.
Brian McNelly, good to see you. We're going to get Pastor Dan Baldwin situated in just a minute. But first, we have some highlights from the Muskie game. Fantastic. So let's take a look. Muskie boys basketball. This is the final action from last night in Cedar Rapids. Muskie's heading to state. They will play next Tuesday, which is very exciting. You might have heard it on the radio, or you can watch the rebroadcast. Let's take a look, see what we have here. Here's the action from courtside. Love it. This is going to be great.
You foul immediately. You don't foul in the backcourt. You try to get him to burn some time. And I'm sure Coach Belger...
You set up in a pressure?
Yeah, I think you'll have some pressure, because otherwise it'll give him a free throw into the front court. So they're definitely going to pressure the ball. It'll probably be Melendez pressuring the basketball without fouling. But when it comes, they'll run a trap up, probably. But Lindmar is going to try to throw this ball into the front court, I would think. They're going to set some screens in the middle of the court. And we'll see. Hahn is going to be right on the ball.
Yeah, 6'5" on the ball. That's a great thing to have.
Melinda's not on the floor. I was wrong there. But it is man pressure, and now Lex backs off. Linn-Mar doesn't have a timeout, so they can't adjust on this. 4.8 seconds, folks. Hang on to your chairs. They get it into Ruff. Ruff crosses over Hutton. Into the front court, steps into a three at the buzzer. Short!
We're in!
The Muscatine Muskies
yes!
are going to the state tournament.
Yeah, baby!
They knock off Linn-Mar 58-55. Celebrate, baby. It's party time in downtown Muscatine. What a game. The Muscatine Muskies had a 7-point halftime lead. And now they held on as they came from behind after 3 quarters and defeat Linn-Mar 58-55. It's family, buddy, and I'm so happy for you and so proud.
So great. Yeah, we'll come back and take a look at some of the post game. So that was some exclusive footage from last night's Muskie Boys basketball game. They defeated Linn-Mar. They're heading to state. They play on Tuesday. Do we know what time they're playing on Tuesday? Is it early? We'll figure that out. I don't know if that's officially been out there, but okay. I'm probably going to have Brian Musell back on Monday, maybe see if Joe wants to come as well. But we got to talk about some chili. Pastor Dan Baldwin, Grace Lutheran Church. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracy was in the store a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she said, it's one of those questions I've got asked a couple times in my career. Do you like chili? And I said, is this a trick question? Because of course I do. And she said, would you be interested in judging a chili cook-off at my church? And I said, when is it? But in my head I was saying yes, of course. It is this Sunday, correct?
Yes, it is this Sunday, March 4th. So at Grace Lutheran Church.
Do you know how many kinds of chili I'm going to have to sample? And am I the only judge? 2 questions.
No, there will be
goodness.
2 more
Okay.
judges. You know, the people who haven't entered chilies will also help you judge the chilies that are entered.
Okay.
We'll probably have somewhere between 7 and 12.
Oh my goodness.
Different kinds of chili. So.
And then are you just going to have like a plate of Tums by chance in case I get heartburn?
We might not have Tums, but we'll have some cheese and some milk
Nice.
and some crackers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So are you Pastor Dan, are you putting in a chili yourself?
I am putting in a chili myself, so I cannot judge.
Okay. And you probably can't give away what, because it's probably going to be a blind judging, right? I'm not going to know who made what. Is that how it's going to be?
Well, some you might, some you might not. I mean, it just depends upon who's able to actually be there to serve and man their chili.
So when it comes to yours, without giving it away, because we want people to come out on Sunday, and of course I'm going to be doing some judging, so I don't want to maybe know all the details, but do you have any secret ingredients that you put in?
Well, of course, but I can't tell you.
I tried.
Yes,
Hy-Vee Today viewers, I tried to get it out of them. So this is all for a good cause, obviously. Chili cook-off to raise some money because y'all are busy at Grace Lutheran. So let's talk about the idea to do the chili cook-off and then where the funds are gonna go.
Sure. Yeah. The idea really came around. We've got a group of 9 youth and 2 adults, one of them being myself, who are going to be going to what we call the National Youth Gathering down in Houston, Texas this coming summer from June 27 to July 1st.
Okay.
And we're really what that event is there are going to be 30,000 high school aged youth there from across the nation.
Yeah.
And we're going to be essentially going deeper into faith there that week. The theme is This Changes Everything, talking about God's grace and how it changes everything.
Sure.
Not just in our lives, but for the lives of the people around us.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to spend 3 full days down there. They call the program days. One of them will be a day of service.
Yeah.
One will be a day where we get to kind of just interact with other people from this portion of the country, so like Southeast Iowa, and we'll have some learning that goes on there, and then we'll also have a day to interact with people who are there for the gathering as a whole, so from pretty much anywhere across the country, and develop relationships, have some learning activities, have some fun stuff.
Sure.
You know, and so we're going to be traveling down, and it's going down to Houston, Texas is not cheap for 5 days. Especially with a group of 11. And so, you know, the transportation costs, the hotel costs, the cost of the registration, all of that, the food, all of that adds up real quick. And you So we're doing this is a fundraiser, one of the fundraisers that we'll have for this. And
because before you know it, it's going to be time to leave.
Before we know it, it's
right?
going to be time to leave.
So you got to have these events in place.
Yes.
And offset the cost. So again, it's this Sunday, 4:30 to 6:30, $5 per person at the door.
Yep.
So and whether you attend Grace Lutheran or not, you're welcome to show up.
Yes,
I'm assuming
certainly welcome
if
to
you
show
love
up.
chili, and
You're
you
more
want to
than
help out a
welcome to
good
come.
cause.
Yes.
$5 is a great price point.
$5 is a great price point. And if you have the opportunity, if you want to join the People's Judge, so we'll have, of course, the official judges, you and 2 other people. And then also anyone who attends, if they want to vote for People's Choice, can vote with their cash.
Nice.
So,
I like it. Okay. So you can let your voice be heard when it comes to which chili is your favorite.
You bet.
Now, I don't really do well with super spicy foods. Do you envision that there'll be some spicy chili come Sunday?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Right. I just need to prepare myself.
There will be some spicy
Now,
chili.
not like the ghost pepper stuff, right?
No,
You're not going to use the ghost pepper, Pastor Dan, are you?
I will not use the ghost pepper on you, Tony.
That's good. I appreciate that. Because there's all these peppers where the Scoville ratings are like millions. And
I know, yeah.
You see the videos online. That's okay. I appreciate that.
I won't do that. Mine is called the Heavenly Flame. Of course, I had to do something kind of cheesy, religious.
I love it.
Yeah, so
we do have a couple stock images of chili pulled up. Yes,
of course, yes.
That's wonderful. But yeah, no, this is fun. So again, the goal is to help be able to send everybody, 11 people, down to Houston, a place of part of the country that was affected by some pretty bad. Hurricane and flooding. So, I mean, talk about a great location to have this event.
Right.
Because you're going to be able, like you said, to get out into the community and help folks that are still recovering, I imagine.
Yep. There will be plenty of hurricane relief work for us to do while we're down there. And they essentially split up the 30,000 into the 3 different days. And so every day for 3 days, there'll be 10,000 people doing service work down there, trying to help them recover from the hurricane.
How long have you been a pastor? I mean, you're my first pastor on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Hey,
so
right, I get to take that award home.
That's right. We need to get a trophy or something.
Got to put it on my wall.
How long has it been for you?
Really, it's only been about 20 months.
Wow.
So I'm a pretty fresh pastor.
That's fantastic.
This was.
But were you called? Do you feel like you were called to do this? Did you know for a while that this is what you wanted to do? Because
very much so.
Being a pastor is not. I don't want to say that it's not a common thing to do, but it's certainly a unique. Job, lifestyle, opportunity. So what was the story that led you? What was your background? I guess that you found this path.
Well, my dad actually is also a pastor.
Okay.
So I had a little bit of exposure to it. But in some ways, that really just means that I knew it, that I was doing, and I'm maybe a little bit more crazy for doing it.
Gotcha. Right.
But really, no. It started out just kind of being around and seeing really that helping people was something that I was very much so into, and I had the opportunities as I was growing up, to go to the youth gathering as a participant when I was younger, and a couple of other things that really kind of gave me the opportunity to try leading and leadership, and that really is what brought me into, okay, well, we're going to try pursuing this, and every time that I tried to go a different direction, I got brought back to being in ministry. So
your calling, right?
Yeah, the calling.
Yeah, I mean, you can only try and do something, like you said, you went off the path a little bit, but you just kept I feel like that's when that happens, that's great.
Yep.
It's meant to be, right? Yep. And I think it's wonderful because I would say, and again, I don't know for sure, but it seems like having younger pastors is a good idea.
Yeah. Well,
right? Whether it be at Grace Lutheran or wherever.
Right.
Yeah.
It just means that, we can be around and serving for a lot longer period of time than somebody, say, who goes second career.
Sure, and the perspective that you'll bring, as a younger person that can appreciate, now certainly having your father in that role and in your life, I mean, great mentor, someone that you can look to for advice. But then you also want to sort of stand on your own and lead in your own way, right? I mean, I think that's a very empowering thing to be able to do.
Yeah. There are ways in which I very much so am like my father as a pastor, but there are some ways that I'm very much so not like my father as a pastor, and that's okay.
Right. It absolutely is, And again, I think for doing it for 20 months, to have ideas like this put in place, and then, yes, to have that perspective from going to the conference yourself to now be leading a group that's going. Let's talk about some of, without naming names, of course, but let's talk about some of the kids that are going to be joining you.
Oh, my.
I mean, they must just be tremendous, right?
They're fantastic. They're fantastic youth.
Yeah. And are they all high school age?
They are all high school age, yes. The gathering itself is for people who are high school age.
Okay.
So. But yeah, no, they're great youth. We got 9 of them, 5 boys, 4 girls.
Sure.
They're a great group of kids. They're very much so involved in a lot of different ways. We have our regular youth group that happens on Sunday evenings, and they show up regularly and very much so active in giving back as well. So they love it when we go out and we help somebody clean up their yard or something like that. That's one of their favorite things to do with youth group. And yeah.
I mean, it's nice, right? Because you have to. Our attention spans keep getting shorter
right.
for Americans, right? So when you can have a group of young people that they get it, right? That they understand, obviously they want to take care of themselves, but that they can appreciate the good feeling that comes with just doing the right thing in the communities that they serve. And how wonderful will it be when they get down to Houston?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, and it'll also be really good, too, because then they'll actually be able to see, the church is more than just, 2107 Cedar Street.
Correct.
And to be able to connect with other people their age who are just as in tune to their faith as they are.
I think it's wonderful. We have your website pulled up, it looks like, so that's excellent. And can we hold up the flyer? Let's hold up the flyer. I mean, we're taking a look at the website, and then we're going to hold up the flyer for this Sunday's chili cook-off, and Ryan's going to get a shot right over here. We want you to show up. $5, you can have a whole bunch of different chilies. I'll be doing some of the judging and enjoying myself, and I'm so glad that Tracy asked me to be a part of this. Again, it's at you can see it right there, Grace Lutheran Church. This Sunday, chili cook-off. We're going to take a shot up top and then kind of pan down a little bit maybe. There's all the details. Come on out. 4:30 to 6:30 on a Sunday. That's prime chili time as far as I'm concerned, Pastor Dan, right?
You bet.
Maybe you don't normally have a bunch of different chili for dinner on Sunday. This is going to be...
No, this will be a nice treat.
Yeah, that's
It'll
right.
Be a nice treat. So.
And I will bring some Tums with me, probably.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Tony.
I appreciate it. Pastor Dan Baldwin with Grace Lutheran Church. Chili cook-off. It's happening this Sunday. We would love to have you there. As we wrap up, it is an exciting day following Muskie Boys basketball. 16 years later, heading to the state tournament. They will play next Tuesday in Des Moines at the Wells Fargo Arena. And I believe we have the last 6 minutes of the game. Is that right? Or should we look at the post-game interview with Joe Wieskamp? Yeah, okay, let's pull up that Brian Musell and Joe Wieskamp from last night following the Muskie Boys win. Here we go.
So proud of not just the young man you become and the player you become, but we talk about it all the time. You got an outstanding head coach, and you guys know who you are. You have to play the game a certain way. It's just not run up on the floor and suck it up. To stick to a script, and you guys do that, and when you do that, you can play with anybody, and everything's circled around you, obviously, and your talent. You're supporting Cass tonight in key moments like his 4-point play, Lex Hahn with a big basket in there, Jackson Falk with a corner 3. You're supporting Cass, stepped up at big moments of this, and what a thrill for the entire Muscatine team.
The team out here. But for us to be able to get this done in our community state tournament, it's something that we've always wanted to do as a group. And we're just brothers. We all love each other. We know that they're going to stop me at some points in the game, but other guys have to step up and hit big shots. And I don't think a shot was bigger than Josh Hutton's and 1-3. And I don't think we win that game with play. And play of Bryce in the first half, those couple buckets. Lex with the and 1, Jack with the corner 3. Team. I'm going to score a lot of points. I'm going to do what I can to get it done, but those guys are constantly there supporting me, buying in what Coach Belger wants.
Belger, you played with Coach Walsh, did so much for you your first 2 years here. Coach Belger came here for one reason. Well, two reasons. One, because of you, and two, he wanted to get to Wells Fargo. Mission accomplished. Why don't you talk about what he's meant to your career as a Muskie and what he's meant to this team?
He's helped me out so much. Obviously, no one knew a lot about it, him when he came in, when he got the job. But he's put his heart and soul into this team and into this community. He puts in countless hours at home watching film, giving scouting reports before games. And I for a better coach.
He's definitely a gym rat. He eats, sleeps, and drinks basketball 24/7, Coach Belger. He made some nice adjustments coming out of time tonight. You guys fell behind by 6. He called timeout. You switched, went back to your man. I really think that helped. And you guys were able to get to the rim late in the game and seal this one so many times as you guys do at the foul line. And it was in typical Muscatine fashion. You weathered the storm and you came out on top. And partner, you're going to play Tuesday night at Wells Fargo. And it really doesn't matter who you play, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Matter.
We're just happy to be there.
You're there, and once you get there, you can start making waves in Des Moines. And Joe, you're a great man. So thrilled to have you on here. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So it's Joe Wieskamp joined us here on PC 860 AM, and he is our player of the game.
Pretty incredible moment for sure to have Joe Wieskamp post-game interview. Wow. Muskie Boys basketball. 16 years. The last time that the Muskie Boys basketball team went to state, I was a senior in high school. You believe that? 2002. That's a long time ago. I didn't have gray hair back then, I'll tell you that much. So congratulations to Joe and all the guys on the team, coaching staff, and for the families of the players. You know, it's a long season, and it continues to go on to the state tournament. Very excited for that, and we'll have more updates along the way. All right, we're going to wrap it up. My thanks to L&M Superintendent Mike Van Sickle for joining the show. Just a great guy. Really enjoyed talking to him. Thanks to Brian McNelly. We still got some leftover cheese samples. Might have to enjoy those after the show. You're invited, too, by the way, if you're watching this. And thanks to Pastor Dan Baldwin with Grace Lutheran Church. Chili Cook-Off Sunday, 4:30, $5. Help out a good cause. And watch me sweat from eating chili. I mean, that's going to be happening. I'll have that chili sweat you get like right here. And you're like, whew, that was a spicy chili. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. We have just a bunch of folks on the show tomorrow. Nora Dwyer will be here from her work with the food pantry to RMT. She's so involved. Rebecca Kerwin-Howe from the new Merrill Hotel and Conference Center. And on Friday, Muscatine Mayor Diana Broderson, and from the MCSA Domestic Violence Shelter, Judy Yates. And also Susan Freers will be here. Busy, busy, busy. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, last day of February. You ready for March? I hope so. Is it going to come in like a lion? It was 65 degrees the other day. What's it going to be like today? Is it going to snow? I don't know. We'll see. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 right here on Hy-Vee Today. Rewatch the show, MP&W, Channel 5, thanks to Remax. And I'm going to finish my Starbucks beverage. We're going to eat some cheese. Listen, the shameless plugs are fine. Starbucks is in the store. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community. Questions? Comments? Know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.